everyone, today's video is going to be a meal plan video. I uploaded one of these to my channel a few weeks ago where I looked at a weekly meal plan, so breakfast, lunch and dinner ideas for under £10, and you guys seem to really enjoy it, so I thought I would do a Christmas edition. So instead of weekly meal ideas, I've just looked at Christmas dinner. I feel like Christmas is a stressful time of year for budgeting. Obviously, you're spending money on things that you wouldn't normally, so if you can save a few pennies on your Christmas dinner and still have the same experience, I feel like it's a good thing to do. I thought I would make this video just to help any of you guys out if you do want to have slightly more of a cheaper Christmas dinner, especially for people like students. I know that while I was at university, I was kind of in charge of Christmas. I think all 3 years that I was there, I put together a Christmas meal for my flatmates, and when you're a student, you don't want to be spending lots of money on one meal. So I would put together a little bit of a meal plan like I have for today's video, get everyone to give me, I think it was like £5 or £10 towards it, and then I would go out and get all the stuff, get all the ingredients, split it all up between everyone, and it would work out actually fairly affordably. So that's what I've done for today's video. I hope that some of you guys might find it helpful. I've done it in a way that all of the essentials are kind of in one bubble, or all of like the classic things. I guess none of them are essentials, but all of the classic parts of a Christmas dinner I've put in like one section, and then any additional extras can come after that. So overall, this is less than £5 per person, which I think is really good. If you think of how much money you would spend on like a work Christmas dinner where it's like 30–40 quid, it's just insane. I will say I've not included drinks with this, so that will be an additional budget, which I think makes sense. But just for food, for less than £5 per person, I think is so good. For this, I've also added up the cost of all of the ingredients together, as well as the cost of just the parts that you'll be using for the meal. So obviously, if you buy a 2 kilogram bag of potatoes, but you only use a kilogram, technically you're spending half the amount because you still have half of those potatoes to use for another meal. So I've got both costs. I'll let you guys know both of them as we go through it. But yeah, let's get started with the main Christmas dinner. So I have used the weights and portions of these ingredients from, I think it was a BBC article of like how much they would recommend making for each person. So that's what I've based everything off. Obviously everyone has different appetites, so you might want to make more or less, but just as like a standard thing, that is what I'm going by. So I guess the main thing of any Christmas dinner is like the turkey or turkey equivalent. Obviously I'm vegan, this is going to be a vegan meal plan just because that's what I eat. So the one that I've gone for is the Asda Meatless loaf. I have gone for the prices and ingredients and everything from the Asda website for everything in this meal plan, just so it's easier. So that's just as a heads up, that is where I've got the prices from. But Asda have a meatless loaf this year which costs £5 and it serves 4 people. Also, as another heads up, this meal plan serves 4 people. I figured that was like the most easy standard number to use, so you'll have to change it depending on how many people you're feeding. But just as a standard, everything in this meal plan serves 4 people, so the meatless loaf serves 4 people anyway, which is great. I did find a few different options on the Asda website depending on what you fancy as like the main part of the meal. They also have a mushroom and lentil nut roast, which I thought looked interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of nut roasts, but I like mushrooms and I like lentils, so that could be an option. That is slightly cheaper at £3. And they also have a cauliflower vegan cheese Wellington, which I am so intrigued by. I love anything covered in pastry, so that is always a win for me. Cauliflower cheese inside of a Wellington just sounds a bit baffling, but that's also £3 if that's something that sounds more interesting. I do think that Asda are going to be releasing more vegan options this year. I don't think they're on the website currently. I think they get released maybe the start of December, so that is also something to bear in mind. I think there will be far more options as a main. Different supermarkets have various different Wellingtons and like turkey roasts, so I feel like as a standard £5 is a good price for any of them, so that is what I've included in this plan. And then another thing that I think a lot of people would consider Christmas dinner essentials are pigs and blankets. So over the last couple of years, supermarkets have actually started releasing their own vegan pigs and blankets, which is great. I think last year I had some from Sainsbury's, pretty sure Morrison's and Aldi are also releasing some this year. I'm not 100% sure if Asda are going to be releasing their own. I can't see any on the website at the moment. So as the vegan replacement for these pigs and blankets, I've just gone for standard cocktail sausages. I feel like it's the same sort of vibe. I think if you really wanted, you could get vegan bacon. I've tried the This Is Bacon, which I thought was really good. The corn ham as well also works well as like a vegan bacon alternative. So you could make your own and wrap up the cocktail sausages in that, or you could just go for the standard cocktail sausage, which I think I would be very happy with. I've definitely done that in the past before they released vegan pigs and blankets. So for this on the Asda website, I found some, I think from the brand Good Life, although don't quote me on that, and they were £2. Asda also have their own cocktail sausages in the fridge section, which were £2.25, so a couple of different options for the pigs and blankets. And then in terms of vegetables, I feel like starting with potatoes is the best shout because they're top tier on the vegetable hierarchy. So for this, I've included 1 kilogram of potatoes. Apparently 250 grams is roughly a portion, and that costs 79p for a whole 2 kilogram bag, or if you're just kind of measuring out the ingredients that you'll need, it'll be around 40p. The next thing is Brussels sprouts. I feel like not everyone's favourite part of a Christmas dinner, but for this I've included 320 grams as 80 grams is considered a portion, and Asda is selling a 500 gram bag for 79p, so that works out around 51p if you're just including the ingredients that you're using. Other vegetables include carrots, so for 320 grams of carrots that would be 19p or 29p for the full 500 gram bag, and parsnips would be 31p for the 320 grams or 49p for the whole bag. And then for the other extras on a roast dinner that I feel like are quite important or like considered roast dinner staples would be gravy. So I've put on here the onion gravy granules from Asda. I get these anyway, I think they taste great. I'm a big fan of onion gravy, and it only costs 71p for the whole pot, which works out about 14p for how much you would need for the dinner. Finally, stuffing, which is definitely one of my favourite parts of a Christmas dinner. You can get a bag of sage and onion stuffing mix for 32p, which works out around 23p if you just include the stuffing that you're using technically for the Christmas dinner. So those are all the elements of the Christmas dinner that I feel like are staples that I've included in like one bubble. So the total cost of all of that and all of the ingredients, so including the extra bits that you don't use, comes to £10.39, which means per person it would be around £2.60 plus all the additional extras that you'd have left over, which is crazy. Honestly, like £2.50 for a normal meal is cheap, but £2.50 for a Christmas dinner is just crazy. And then in terms of the costs, if you're only looking at those 4 portions, it comes to £8.78, so slightly cheaper at around £2.20 per person. Moving on to the optional additional extras, I thought I would include these because I feel like when you have a Christmas dinner, you do kind of want to go all out and you want to include like as much as you can on the plate and as much stuff as you can physically put in your oven. So I've included quite a few different extras. I feel like people can pick and choose of what they actually personally want on their Christmas dinner. But the first one is cranberry sauce. So you can get a jar of cranberry sauce in Asda for 59p, which works out about 30p for just the 4 portions. You can also get a packet of bread sauce mix for 39p, and you just need to mix that with a little bit of milk. So I have also included soy milk in the budget. For 1 litre of soy milk it's 59p, and you can use this for the bread sauce and also some homemade Yorkshire puddings, which I've also included on the optional extras list. I feel like vegan Yorkshire puddings are very hit or miss. I have not always been successful with homemade vegan Yorkshires, but I have had a couple of good ones in the past. I'll link down a recipe below that I have used previously, and I think the only ingredients you really need for that are oil, flour, baking powder and milk. So flour and baking powder and oil I've not really included in the budget. Any sort of staple store cupboard ingredients, I guess, I've not included in this meal plan. So you would have to have those in already, but then I have included the milk. So it literally is just a case of mixing up those ingredients and putting them in some hot oil in the oven. I feel like it's worth it. I think even failed vegan Yorkshire puddings still taste great because they're like oily batter, and I don't know what else you could want. So I'm definitely going to be attempting to make some of those this year at Christmas. Another extra that's one of my faves is Swede and carrot mash. Again, I'll leave a recipe down below, but for this it comes to around 84p in total for the Swede and the additional carrots, and it's really just as simple as boiling them together and mashing them up with some seasoning and butter. I think I would put that on the top of my favourite vegetables on a roast dinner, so again, another staple for me, but not everyone has it on their roast dinners, so that's why I've included it in the additional extras bit. And then I've also included a couple of like flavouring seasoning type things, so a bulb of garlic for 33p and also some fresh rosemary for 45p. Personally, when I make my roast potatoes, I like to put fresh garlic and fresh rosemary in them. It just makes them next level, and it's one of those things that makes it taste bougier than it is. Like, you could make some bog standard roast potatoes or buy some like Aunt Bessie's roast potatoes, but as soon as you put some fresh garlic and fresh rosemary in there, I feel like it just takes it up a level. So I've included it in the budget because that's personally what I like to include. Obviously you can tweak that with whatever like flavourings and seasonings you like to use. And then the final few things I've included in this meal plan are more dessert options. So mince pies, as to do a packet of 6 for £1. They happen to be accidentally vegan and they're really good. I got those last year and I was a really big fan. So cheap and cheerful, they're not advertised as vegan, which means they're not as expensive as like the free from mince pies, and they still taste just as good as any other mince pie. I've also included a Christmas pudding, which is £2 and serves 4. The ones in Asda, again, are accidentally vegan. I personally like Christmas pudding at Christmas. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought I would include it in here anyway because it's traditional, it's a traditional pudding. I do have a couple of other pudding options you could use instead. Asda have a vegan chocolate torte and they also have a vegan raspberry torte, both of which are £4, I'm pretty sure, so slightly more expensive. But I have tried the chocolate one and I was a big fan. So if you're not really into the whole mincemeat, Christmas pudding, Christmas cake kind of vibe, I would definitely recommend looking at those. And then I've also included some Alpro custard, which is 88p. This custard is the best. Honestly, I can't taste any difference between the Alpro custard and any other custard. Tastes amazing, tastes like normal custard, and I feel like you definitely cannot have Christmas pudding without custard. If anyone does that, I mean, I don't want to be judgmental, but you're crazy. I guess you could also swap out custard for things like vegan cream. Vegan ice cream would be another really good option. So you can definitely switch up the desserts. So in total, for all of the Christmas dinner staples, the additional extras and also the desserts, it comes to £17.55. And that is the cost of everything, including any leftovers that you might have. And then if you're just looking at the 4 portions, it comes to £15.65, so a little bit cheaper. And then per person, that works out at £4.40 for everything, or if you're just looking at the ingredients used, it's £3.90. So below £5, like I said at the beginning, which is crazy. I wanted to leave like a little bit of leeway for any additional extras. I know that Christmas dinner is like a very personal thing. People have their traditions of everything that they like to include. So there are some other things that people might like to pick up, things like red cabbage. I'm a big fan of pickled onions with my Christmas dinner, so that would be another thing that I would choose. And then also, like I mentioned, this meal plan does assume you have things like butter, oil, salt and pepper in the house. So if you don't have those things, there is a little bit of flex in the budget to get them as well. Or alternatively, you could use those extra few pounds to buy some more treats. So you could get some chocolates. The Asda own brand mint thins, I'm pretty sure are accidentally vegan and they taste just like After Eight mints, which is my personal favourite Christmas chocolate. So you definitely have some room to get some treats as well. I know that when I was a student and I did all this Christmas stuff, I included in the budget a little bit extra and I got everyone a pair of socks, which was actually really fun. So I think if you're at university and you're kind of taking on the Christmas role, I would recommend doing that. You can get kind of packs of 5 and then break it out so each person has 1 pair of socks. And I would use the socks like stockings. So I'd hang up each sock and then fill the socks with like a few little quality streets or little chocolate bits and bobs. And then everyone would have their own little mini stocking as well, which just helps everyone get in the festive spirit, particularly as when I was at university, we used to do it fairly early. I'm pretty sure our Christmas dinners were like end of November time. So if you're currently in lockdown and you're at university and you want something to do, maybe throw yourself a little Christmas dinner, early Christmas dinner party, because they are some of my highlights, I think, from the whole 3 years that I was at university. I think we just had the best time on those Christmas evenings. But that has been this whole meal plan video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it might have been helpful for some of you guys, particularly if you're stressing about how expensive Christmas might be this year. Hopefully this gives you some ideas of how to make it a little bit cheaper. I will link in the description everything that I've mentioned. I'll also list out the full shopping list of everything that I've kind of chatted over in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.